Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is The Awakening. I'm your host, TruthSeekah. This is going to be an amazing show tonight. We're going to be talking about healing, music, and incorporating your spirituality in your music and in your art form, fulfilling your life purpose, clearing your relationship blockages, healing your inner child, clearing self-sabotage, clearing negative energies, achieving your goals and dreams, limiting beliefs, fears, emotions, and all root causes. We're going to be getting rid of that tonight. We're going to be speaking about healing. And if you're going to be listening in to the podcast, if you're on the line, if you need some healing, this is the show for you. So whatever you're dealing with, whatever you need to let go of, we want to do that tonight. We want to just create a sacred space, even as you're listening to the show. Just if you're riding in your car, if you're listening on the phone, if you're listening live, just create a sacred space where you are and understand that God, the infinite understanding, the infinite consciousness, the divine creator that created everything is here now, listening, wanting to speak to you, to move through you, desires a relationship with you, just for you to understand that if you can't see God in all, then you can't see God at all. So to move past your religious boundaries, whatever faith you may be affiliated with, and understand that we can agree on one thing, that God is love, and we are expressions of that love. So today we're speaking to Tarek Bibi, and I believe I have him on the line, calling from Canada, I believe it is.
Hey,
Shalom, brother. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you so much, man. I'm honored to be here. Thank you very, very much. And to all the callers listening in, I love what you do and what your music's about. And I love that there's this space that we have here to be able to share our truth in this beautiful way. Thank you.
Yeah, the same gratitude towards you, man. I mean, you're doing the same thing, taking the healing energies that you found through God, through music, and making it available to the masses. And understanding that tonight, man, I think it's special, just like any time we would do a podcast or whatever, because sometimes life gets so hectic and we can't create a sacred space. We can't find time to meditate. We can't find time to give into study of scriptures or just inward reflection, because we're always on the go. This life demands so much of a lot of us. We have children, families, things like that. And this life is just demanding. It's always taken back from us, taking something away. And we go and we're like running on E's, or we need to be, refilled. So tonight, I believe is that, that time that we can, okay, look, we have, we haven't been, meditating. We haven't been getting plugged into the source. So tonight, it's your chance to do that. Tonight is my chance to do that. I need some healing in my life, too. On the phone, we have Tarek Bibi. We're going to be talking about healing tonight. What's going on, man?
Hey, lots, man. Lots going on. Just like you said, life is busy. It does demand a lot. And, it's almost like if you slip just that one time, we fall down so hard. Sometimes it takes a while to just get back up to where we were. It's like struggle, and if we're going against the flow, it does feel like, why are we even doing this if we're ending up where we first started? But things like this, they're popping out all over the place. We're hearing the calling, we're doing what we're here to do, being what we're here to be in any way that we can reconnect to that truth, that energy, that love. Let's just fill our cups with that and use it to move forward and do the things we want to do.
Well, before we get into some more of the healing and some more of the deeper exercises that we'll try tonight, and open up the phone lines to people who have questions, or they want to be a part of tonight's show. If you want to call, if you're in the chat room, the number is at the bottom. Definitely call in, and we're going to take the calls in order as they were received, so everybody would have a chance to actually get in and ask a question and be a part of the show tonight. But before we do that, I wanted to talk a little bit about you, where you started, why you're actually doing what you're doing. So I just want to talk about, like, how did you come to find a spiritual path?
Thanks for asking that. I feel like many of us, we might have felt like we don't belong here, or something's wrong with the world, even maybe at a very young age, just knowing something was off, and either I don't fit in here, or, you know, it seemed like everyone was okay with the way things were, and I was the only one who was either too sensitive or was as if something was wrong with me. But I always remember just having this really beautiful, loving, clear connection to something higher. Call it God, call it our guides and angels, whatever it is. But it felt very like it was just me and that energy, me and God alone, and no one else would understand me or get me, or I couldn't relate to them and they couldn't relate to me. Like the black sheep of the family and the weirdo, etc. But I'm always grateful, looking back, having that connection and having that love and that understanding come from that special place. But school was a nightmare. Couldn't keep up with the class. You know, felt like something was wrong with me. Maybe Dad was really hard on me. Always tried to motivate me by putting me down. You know, it's like the old school way of tough love. And so I was drilled with, like, I'm not good enough, I'm stupid, I'll never succeed, I'll always be a failure. So anytime I would try to shine my light, it's almost like it was threatening people around me, and I thought, like, if I just could dim my light enough, no one would get hurt. But I wasn't hurting their heart or their higher self. I think I was hurting their ego, just like my ego gets hurt, someone's potentially doing that. So I learned the hard way that that's just terrible to do that, just shine our light, and people are going to react their own way, and we're all each other's mirrors. And yeah, just getting bullied and starting to bully others, just went through that phase of just really hating myself, hating my dad, hating just a lot of things. But I remember when I was a kid and they asked, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And, you know, all I could think about is the stories of the prophets. That's all that would come to my mind. I didn't have aspirations to be a doctor, an engineer, anything like that. I'm not even claiming that I am close to what a prophet would be, but that's the only thing that my mind could come up with, is I would aspire to being that person that has a special connection with, or that has a connection with a higher intelligence, call it God, universe, source, and wants to help the people around him. So I was there.
Would you have,
yeah.
Let me ask you this: would you have called yourself a class clown whenever you were young in school?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because I'm seeing it's like, you know what I'm saying, because I was too, and everything you're saying, we just have similar paths, and it's not just me and you, it's other people who are listening as well. But I think the whole class clown thing at a young age is because we do that, and we end up getting in trouble and seeing that it's bad. But I think what it is like just wanting to make people laugh, wanting to see people happy, wanting to see people joyous instead of having a rough time, even at an early age, man. Early age in school, causing people to laugh. And if times were boring, going out of your way to make people laugh. I think that says something special by when you grow up and you see what type of person you become. Some people don't reach that full potential. Some people don't pursue it, and they just get tied down in their jobs, and they grow out of it. But for you to grow up and for me to grow up and still hold on to the innocence of that childhood, and the innocence of making people laugh, and the innocence of making people feel good, healing through, I mean, even in the scriptures it talks about that a laughter is like a medicine, that it actually heals you when you laugh. There's studies that has been done that show that when you laugh, you're actually healing your body, healing your emotions. It's amazing.
People have cleared cancer and all sorts of things. Laughter is the best medicine, and even to quote scripture, to be childlike in order to enter the kingdom of heaven. I'm misquoting it, but it's just teaching us to be childlike.
Yeah.
So true. And, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that even, just before we move past the whole laughing thing, it even shows that a lot of evangelical churches now are embracing a movement of laughter, that it's a spontaneous laughter that comes forth and it's usually when a lot of people are grieving or a lot of people are going through some things in the congregation or something. They'll call it a holy laughter, they'll call it a holy joy, and then the whole congregation will just burst into this joyous laughter. Nobody can explain it. A lot of the religious people will say that it's disruptive or whatever, but it's not, that, what I'm saying, the power behind it is not, it's not just for evangelical Christians, because this is happening with a lot of people having spiritual experiences. They start to laugh, and because it's really powerful when people can't laugh, when they can't have a good time, when they can't kick back, and even when you're going through pain, that laughter, man, the healing that comes with that, words can't describe. So it's even happening in a lot of evangelical churches.
Yeah, I'm not surprised in that. And even before that tradition in yoga, they have yoga therapy, which is like laughter yoga. So it's ancient, it's been there. I love that it's happening in churches, because singing and dancing and laughing, like all things they spark this state of being within us that just like gets us to shine even brighter. And it is instantly powerful. And as you know, as a class clown, like, that one whisper in your ear that says, or that one nudge within your being that says, say this thing, and then you say it, and you have that nervous feeling like, oh my God, I can't keep this to myself, and you share it, and instantly it's like you just transformed the whole room, and now the whole room is in a joyful state, and it just raises the vibration so much higher.
Yeah.
So it's very powerful.
Yeah, even now, man, I take joy in causing my family to laugh, causing my daughter and my wife to laugh. Whenever I see them laugh or I see them smile, it makes me smile. Really powerful. But so, I know you had a rough time as a child and a rough upbringing. But what led you to maybe a fork in the road as far as choosing a religion or looking into some type of spiritual practice that actually formed you to be on the path that you are now? What is like the earliest fork in the road that you've seen?
Thanks for asking that. I remember intuitively knowing, all I had as an option growing up was religion in terms of spirituality. I didn't know that there was a distinction at that point in time. But it meant so much to me, whatever I could do to be a better person, a better human being, to get me closer to God. And what I was taught is, my mom was brought up Christian, my dad was brought up Muslim, so we'd celebrate Christmas, and I'd also be fasting during Ramadan. So beautiful religions, they both have tons of beautiful wisdom, but unfortunately with some of the religions, the way it's taught is just follow the rules and you'll go to heaven if you're good. And that's all I would do, is I'll do these things thinking getting me closer to God. And I even remember praying the way Muslims would pray. So I'd get down on my knees, do the ritual that we do, and say the word that we're told to say. But at the end of that, I'm like, okay, now that that's out of the way, I can have a one-on-one conversation with God, and I could just talk normally. And the truth is, you could talk to God normally anytime, and have to be the way it's done then. So it's funny as a child how I was doing that, but just the hate was eating at me. It just kept on eating at me, and things kept getting worse and worse and worse. I think I was 17, 18 at the peak of my anger, and just exploding on people emotionally. And I'm a fire sign, and I'm butting heads with a lot of people, and it's just all this stuff's ready to burst out of me, and I could either implode or it either has to come out positively or it's going to come out negatively. So I reached the point where I really felt I was overdoing cigarettes and drugs and alcohol, and not taking care of my health, and salt, and sugar, and all this stuff. And I just felt at one point my heart was going to stop, and I just remember saying, God, if you give me one chance, I'll take better care of my health. I'll make better use of my time here. And my heart didn't stop. So I stopped smoking cigarettes. I became a vegetarian. I stopped eating salt and sugar, and took better care of my health, which is self-love. I hated myself, so I punished myself through food. I started loving myself, so I started nurturing the body that I was in. But I really felt there was some guidance telling me, Tarek, you need to confront something you've been avoiding your whole life. And for me, the scariest thing I've ever had to do so far was to actually have a dialogue with my father and say, hey, Dad, no one in the family ever acknowledged how much of an impact this had on me growing up, this, just making me feel like really small and worthless. And no one ever said anything about it. It was all accepted and it was hush-hush and wasn't even acknowledged. Like, that's really bad. So I remember he wasn't here. I was in Toronto. I moved to Toronto in 99. I grew up in Dubai. I emailed him saying, I'm ready. Something was guiding me to do this. Something was telling me, Tarek, you need to forgive him, you need to confront this. So I just emailed him. I said, this is how it was. This is how it's impacted me. I'm ready to let it go. And it was so powerful because I felt like I had like angels around me doing that, helping me, walking me through it. Just so much love and light. And
yeah.
And I forgave him then and there. And I was also breaking out of the matrix belief systems and the religion and the control in society and school. And I remember that sparked everything for me. I felt reborn. I felt like now I'm living the life I was here to live. And everything up until that point, it's like life was waiting for me. And when I did that, I was back in the role of things. Sure you can relate to that and our listeners can relate to it.
Yeah, totally, because whenever I had my awakening or salvation experience coming into the Christian faith in 1998, a couple months passed and I was going to prayer meetings and seeking God and having this encounter with the divine in my own room. The presence of God and the fire and the vibration and everything, was just happening with nobody else involved, just me reading the scriptures and talking to God, and I would have these awesome encounters. Going to a prayer meeting, I told some brothers about some issues I had, and I was praying, one day and talking to God, and I felt like I had a evil spirit with me, some type of negative energy latched onto me, and I was talking to God, and I said, God, what is this? And He said, you have a demon. And I was like, okay, this is God talking to me, my spirit, and telling me I have a demon. I said, okay, what is it? And He told me, that it was from my mom. It was because of the animosity that I had from my mom. My whole life, my mom, our relationship being kind of rocky, and her being a single mom and not being able to provide certain things, as far as she had to focus on providing financially and couldn't provide emotionally the things that we needed. And then when I got a little bit older, calling me names and putting me down and telling me I was stupid and I wouldn't amount to anything. And for those words to come from your mother really had an impact on me. So when I was coming out of Egypt, when I was coming out of this state of bondage, I heard the voice of God tell me I had a demon. So I told these guys about it, and I felt like it was related to my mother. And they prayed over me. And they told me, they said, okay, we're going to pray, but we may see something manifest. We may see something appear. And at the time, I was actually like 13 years old. And so I'm thinking, because I watched a lot of horror movies, I thought some kind of demon or imp or something would pop out of me and run down the hallway or something crazy. I didn't know what to expect, but these guys laid hands on me and began to pray for me and actually minister healing to me. And then I broke out into this screaming and utterance, and I actually, buckled over, and I felt this spirit manifest in me that which was demonic and was hateful and mean, and I was crying, and I was actually having to deal with that pain. And needless to say, they wrestled with me all night, trying to pray over me and scream the demon and command the demon to get out and all these type of things, and nothing happened. And this went on for about 4 to 5 hours until I was screaming so much and yelling so much. I had blisters all over my face from screaming so much, and I had dots all over my face. So they called a pastor to come by, and this pastor came by, and they told him the story, and he sat down on the couch and said, okay, if you want to be free from this entity, this spirit, you're going to have to forgive your mom. All you have to do is say, Mom, I love you and I forgive you. And he told me to say it, and I couldn't say it. And he said, if you want freedom right now, just tell your mom that you love her and that you forgive her. I couldn't do it. But once I stayed there long enough, and once I was able to reach deep down and say it and mean it, not just say it nonchalantly, but say it and mean it, it broke that instantly. So all these people yelling and screaming, it really didn't do anything. It would just go into that point of pain and finding healing and finding forgiveness. And similar to your story, how you're speaking about your dad and some of the things that was, put upon you as a child, and you having to come to that point of pain and deal with it. And I wanted to share this story because there's a lot of people who haven't dealt with it. They haven't dealt with it, so they're not able to get past that starting point. People email me all the time wanting to open their third eye, or wanting to become spiritual, or wanting to find God, and a lot of times you have to deal with this stuff. This is usually, for me and for you, is 101 in approaching a spiritual path.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. I feel like we're kindred spiritual brothers. And, everyone has a story, right? And if your story, the very first part of it, you haven't taken that initial important step that you feel you need to take, like, it has to start there. We can't skip that and move forward to other things. And it's not a race. Everyone's exactly where they're ready to be.
Mm-hmm.
Be anywhere else, you would have been there right now. And sometimes we look forward, we want to forget about the past. Well, I hear this a lot about, that happened so long ago. Well, that stuff is like fresh in your being, in your body.
Mm-hmm.
It's like beneath the surface, it's right beneath an emotion. We have to do the soul work. There's no option at this point in time with the vibration getting higher and higher. You either do it the easy way, willingly, or you're going to have to do it the hard way. It's going to show up in your life as in your relationship, in your job, career. Your boss will play the role. Some stranger will play the role. The whole universe is going to play the roles for you that are going to bring out what feels like the worst in you, but it's happening for you, not to you. And we want to shift from victim. And I don't know if you can relate to just having that victim consciousness growing up, thinking everyone's out to get you and life is out to get you and just want to put you down and all of that. You realize, wait a minute, on some level, I'm actually making this happen. And then when you have that shift and you decide, it's really nice to blame my dad, and it's nice for you to maybe blame your mom and other people, others, the people that did wrong things to us, that there's some kind of empowerment, like how you were saying. We didn't want to. If we could have let that go a long time ago, we would have. But there's something about holding on to that we're getting some kind of pleasure out of it, or it's not so easy for us, or the ego or the mind wants to hold on to it. Who knows what's going on? But when you do that, that's when it's like, decide I'm going to be the creator of my reality, and I'm going to take full responsibility, and I'm going to forgive because I have the rest of my life to live, and I want to live it for me, and I want to be free of that, and I'll take responsibility. And not everyone's ready to do that, and I think the more we do that, the less we'll be talking about Illuminati, and the less we'll be talking about governments doing, and the more we'll be talking about what are we doing with our power, right? Yeah.
Instead of shifting the blame. And that's what, because if you don't, what is going to happen, and what you probably look back on, everybody who's listening, your life, is until you deal with that stuff, this stuff starts to come out through trying to fill the void or to heal the hurt. And most of the time it's drugs, alcohol, sexual relationships, any type of obsessive compulsion, whether it's, negative music or something that allows you to vent. And venting is good as long as it's in a positive way, cramming your body with drugs and alcohol is not a good way to vent. It may help for just a little bit of time, but until you find healing, you're not going to be able to get to that place to where you understand that you don't need that. But it's almost like a crutch, that it's just something that we try to find anything that makes us feel alive, anything that makes us feel like we're special, or that this life matters, or we deserve an existence here, or at least while we're here, we're going to have fun. But once you get past that and you understand that we are spiritual beings, that whether you were hurt or offended by someone who took advantage of you, whether it's a parent or someone in school or something like that, you understand that they were hurt too, that they're going through the same stuff, and they're trying to vent, and they're trying to find who they are. And let's just face it, everybody doesn't wake up. Everybody doesn't reach a point of epiphany to say, hey, I need help. Hey, I want to stop hurting people. Hey, I want to stop blaming people, So that's what we're here to do, much like Jesus said. He said that the light has come into the world so that they can't stay in darkness anymore, that they're going to say, hey, I heard this podcast, and I know that I have to deal with some things. You're not going to be able to sleep. You're not going to be able to go on unless you deal with the stuff that happened at the beginning. You're not going to be able to move past it. You can try, but you always got to go back and deal with what happened first. And for some people, it could be, very harsh, because some people had, I used to blame my mom. I used to blame my dad, and had this crazy upbringing. But it didn't get me anywhere. And when I look back on it, it wasn't their fault, because they needed healing that they didn't get. So we're here to awaken the people. We're here to prophesy to the people and say, wake up. It's high time to come out of sleep. It's time to repent. The word repent means to have a change of mind. Stop thinking the way that you were thinking, because obviously it's not working, Yeah,
definitely. I love how you're drawing from like the Christian tradition and integrating it into like just making sense of it, shifting a paradigm. Mm-hmm. It's all in there, with
it is.
Sins are everywhere, and whichever thing you're into, the solution is there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's not about that. It's actually not about your formula, and that's where I kind of wanted to shift it a little bit as well. I wanted to talk to you about the same thing about your, what I'm saying, you're dealing with religion and religious terms, and have you studied comparative theology and how most of the religions are saying the same thing, but they just have different terms and different phrases and different buzzwords that they're talking about the same exact thing.
I feel that. I didn't study that, but I can totally see how it's all the same, different words, wherever you go.
Yeah, because you have to deal with a lot of people, and everybody's not where you are in your walk and your understanding. They haven't done the knowledge. They haven't done the research that that you've done. They haven't put in the work. So there's a type of grace that you have to learn to have instead of fighting with people and debating people. It's like, okay, you haven't done the work I've done. I'm not going to beat it over your head or try to hold it over your head or hold it against you. I know that coming into this conversation. So some people, you can't use certain words, you know what I'm saying? Like, but we're talking about the same thing, It's like
that's
the same principles but different words,
Yeah, and if the word God resonates, then it's the word God. If the word universe resonates, it's the universe. And spirit, the word guides and angels. Like, you're right. Like, when we're talking to folks, let's not forget, like, we want to be unified. We are one people. And, when we're divided, there's only one, there's someone that's laughing at us and is taking advantage of us. And that's, we talked about it earlier, like, the demons that feed off of us, they want us to be divided. They want us to be in anger. They don't want us to forgive. They want us to argue amongst each other. So when we're connecting with someone, like you're saying, and let's say they're very in the religious terminology or spiritual, New Age terminology, or like whatever terminology, you can still have a dialogue back and forth and just see how we're saying the same things.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like the other day I was passing by this religious store, and it was quoting how, like, oh, ours is right because that person is wrong and that person is wrong and that person's right. There's such a divide, but like when you look at Islam, like Immortal Technique said it, like Jesus is the most quoted prophet in the Quran. So we're learning from the same ascended masters, and we're saying the same things. So yeah.
Yeah, it's like, even the quote Immortal Technique as well, when he said what the industry did to Tupac, they did to Jesus. Basically taking his words and putting them where they don't belong, taking his words and saying, using them to push their own selfish or personal agenda, and that's what they did, to him. And I didn't go into a lot of detail, but there was a Facebook post. I try not to get too deep with people on Facebook. I'll just present the information and just leave it out there for people, and if they want to contact me personally, I'll try to do that. But every now and then I'll kind of encourage dialogue on the page and stuff. And I posted some stuff, and we were talking about angels of light and light beings and things like that. And a lot of times the Christian people, they want to give all the credit to these demonic beings who are pretending to be angels or pretending to be ascended masters or something like that, and they give them all the credence and all the glory and stuff. And they even mention to where, like, Muhammad was visited by an angel in the cave, and then even Joseph Smith was visited by an angel. And they want to judge and say, and they say that those angels were demons, or that was the devil. The devil met him there. It's like, okay, what holy text said that? Where did you read that was the devil? Just because it's not in their holy writing, it's demonic or the devil. But in the same case, you have a sense where Paul, a regular Jew, encountered the same type of light being, a being that blinded him and pronounced to be the God of love, pronounced to be Jesus. And so we take that as face value, but all the other ones, we demonize those and say, okay, those are satanic, those are not this. And because they're not this, they're not right, So it's just really trying to get people away from that understanding of having this preconceived notion that you know it all,
I really feel this is very important. I mean, I do agree that we have to be very, very super discerning in the time we're in now, because everything's been infiltrated, but everything also is where our sensitivity, our awareness is at an all-time high, and we really need to go within and see if it feels true. Like right now, if you're listening to me and Truth Talking, does it resonate with you in your being? Does it? I don't know. I like to believe we all have the ability to know truth within ourselves. And like Muhammad wasn't a Muslim, Jesus wasn't a Christian.
Yeah.
Buddha wasn't Buddhist. They just connected with something within themselves. And if it's true that we're all, if it's true that we can't even trust anything anymore, and what's going on with this and that, well, there's only one last source to go to, and that's in your heart, and direct connection, and connected to that place of truth within your being that those same people did. And that's the only way that no one can argue with it, because if it's true to you, I can't argue with you.
Yeah.
You felt something in your being that said forgiveness is the answer. How can I tell you any differently? You felt that from inside of you.
Yeah. And it's working, And I think that's the big thing. If it's working, if your belief system is working for you, I don't care if you made it up. I don't care if you sat in your closet and made your religion up and presented it to the people. If it's working for you, if you're able to function in this world, if it's bringing you bliss and bringing healing and towards others, then it's working for you. It's I think it's working for the greater good. But people get caught up on the names and the labels and stuff, and just like you mentioned, if people are listening to this show and they feel it, and they feel a resonance, deep down within their spirit, and they say, man, these guys are on to something. But this is the main thing that really pushes me over the edge. That says, Derek, Truth, keep going, keep doing what you're doing, because many people feel what we're saying. They know what we're saying is truth. They feel it in their spirit. They know it in their hearts of hearts. but they can't repeat it. They can't take the study to the next level. They can't be vocal about the questions that they have because of the rejection, the demonizing, and the outcasting that will happen. And I tell you what, it's a hard road. I was reading in the scriptures today in Romans 8, and the whole thing about following Christ and following what he did and where he went, he was rejected amongst his peers. I thought I was going to be accepted. I thought that understanding great biblical truths would make me accepted amongst my peers. But when you come to find out that there's a lot of stuff in there that people don't know about, and you go try to share it with people, people like tradition over truth. So that's what pushes me over the edge and says, okay, keep doing what you're doing. And when people encourage me, they send me messages, even people who are involved in churches and stuff, who cannot speak on what we're speaking on because of who they are, where they work, what they believe. They cannot do it, but they agree with it wholeheartedly. And that's the age we're living in. That's what religion does. It's like, okay, I believe everything he's saying, but I can't promote it, I can't share it, and I can't like it because so and so will make fun of me. They'll call me out. They've done it before. They've shunned me. And in order, like you were saying, to become a prophet and have that prophet call, I used to think that the call of a prophet was someone who prophesied fortunes over people and someone who told people about their future and their past and stuff. I didn't know that the call of a prophet was to return back to the roots, was to repent and return back to the ancient paths, to forsake the cares of this present age and return back from whence we came, to return back to your essence, to return back to spirituality, to return back to God in the fullest sense. Reject the religion, receive God, because they don't work together. Once people have a encounter with God, a genuine encounter with God, there's genuine encounters happening in prayer meetings and Bible studies, even in churches. And we have this genuine encounter, but you rely on religion to recreate or nurture that encounter. It doesn't work. It doesn't work at all.
Yeah. And I definitely, that's a great point, is that we need to experience that. We need to experience God, and we need to get out of the head for a minute, because we can spend our whole life talking about God, and God's like, I wish you stopped for a second. I wanted to connect, just be with you for a minute, but you're reading and talking and preaching in my name, and it's like, I wanted to be with you, and you're so busy talking about me, I didn't get to be with you. So let's not lose the plot here. Let's be and experience God, and there's absolutely infinite ways to do that, whether it's fasting, whether it's dancing, whether it's singing, whether it's people even do some sacred shamanic like drugs and stuff. I'm not here to judge and say this is right, this is wrong. There's a million paths that would lead to the same source, and whatever resonates with you, that works for you, and there's no right and there's no wrong. So, yeah. I mean, I don't want to harp on this too long, because this is my forte. I can go for hours, but there's so much, even in the Bible, that if the average churchgoer, if the average Christian understood what was in the scriptures compared to what their church teaches as far as doctrine goes, they would never step a foot back into church again. A lot of the stuff that's going on contradicts even what's taught in the Bible as far as biblical theology and biblical doctrine. And there's so much, and people accuse me of being New Age and stuff like that. I'm a Christian. I believe in Christ. I believe in the death, burial, and resurrection, and His blood was shed for the atonement of my sins. Because that's how I found God, was through that name. I'm not saying that if you found God through another name that you were wrong. And brother, let me tell you the truth. I'm telling you, that's how I found God, and that worked for me. And I can share it with you, but it's
it's a lot deeper than a lot of people make it out to be, but then again it's a lot simpler. But to get past the dogma, it can take years, and it can produce us a bit of spiritual, bipolarism, to where you're back and forth, you're night and day, you're for it, you're against it, you know, you don't know, you're sure, you're unsure, and we go back and forth. But that is the call of one who is to walk in the spirit while being on a physical plane, to balance work, job, family with a highly spiritual life. Would you agree?
Yeah, totally. And what you said earlier about religion and spirituality, if you can have that connection with religion, bless you, and if you're having a hard time and religion's getting in the way of you being able to connect, then there is another route. And I know the day I said, I don't believe in you, God, and when I'm like, I let go of religion, I don't know what to believe anymore, so I'm not going to believe in you anymore. And that was crushing to me, because my whole life was based on having that connection to this God. But when I started reading and seeing how there's a lot of manipulation, and I swore off of God and I swore off of religion, I literally felt I was surrounded by these demonic entities that were like, yes, got him, and they were having this celebration around me, and I felt like I was in hell. And I did what I did with, I played some really truthful, heartfelt messages over and over on my computer, and I remember waking up the next morning and just feeling that presence, feeling like the light shining through the room, like I was in church or something, in a sacred temple, and just so magically. And I just felt, I'm like, I don't know what you are, I don't know what your name is, but I feel you, know you, and I believe in you. That's all that matters to me. And I did get shunned by my peers, because I remember, to me, you have the things that you do which seem controversial, and for me it was just growing up in a very Muslim-oriented culture, putting the picture of Jesus on my wall, and my friends saying, "Why are you doing that? We follow Muhammad." And I was like, I love this story. I can relate to this story. He got crucified for speaking his truth, and that's been, every time I speak my truth, I get crucified. I really vibe with this person. But then I got shunned from my people. I had to go and find my own path and find out who I was. It's not easy, but sometimes you have to do that. Yeah.
Well, it talks about, Paul said, he said that you must become all things to all people, so that you may win some. So those who are of the religious sect, you can't just, bombard them with information and bombard them with truth and, blow their mind. You got to kind of feel people out. You got to kind of play it by the Spirit to know how much they can handle, where they're at. And I kind of liken it to this. Some people, we can talk about angel technology, we can talk about spirit travel, we can talk about trances, we can talk about meditation. Some of these, to me, being somewhat of the elementary principles that I think everyone should know, but they don't. Other people, we can only talk about football, we can only talk about the weather, we can only talk about the news. We can't mention these type of things, because they're not ready for it, or they don't want it. So for you to, what the Bible calls, throw your pearls before swine, is what I find myself doing a lot of times on the public forum through Facebook, of sharing information. And there's so many people on that forum who may agree with me or don't agree with me. So I may share a scripture, and I got to understand that there's Wiccans, there's Buddhists, there's Christians, there's Mormons, there's Muslims, there's Hindus, there's atheists. I have all these types of people on my friends list on Facebook. So that just spreads it wide. And it doesn't always work out, especially when they all comment at the same time. Everybody's, well, I got this, well, this is truth, or this is truth, or your truth isn't truth, my truth is truth, So it really, understand that from a state of being, we have to, me and you, we have to move past that. You're going to get caught up on that on the early stages, because I'm talking to people now they're still caught up on that. They're caught up on pointing fingers and accusing people, and you don't believe what I believe. Okay, that's the very early stages. Okay, you're going to have to let that go. You have to. You can't move. You can't move on. Hear from the divine, receive from the divine on a daily basis, and minister healing, and still worry about the next man, and still worrying about if your next conversation is going to win them over to your theological debate. No, you got to leave it behind.
I feel, Truth, if we get out of the head for a second and go into the mind, not us, well, us too, but like in general, we're not our beliefs. And I think we can, I think the new age that we're stepping into is that earth that is birthed from the heart based, like Christ consciousness, Buddha consciousness, like from that place of love within our beings. And that includes us getting out of the head. And what is the mind and the ego love? It's like, oh, do you believe what I believe? Okay, cool, then I like you. Oh, you don't believe what I believe? Well, I don't like you. That exists in me, you, in Jesus, and Buddha. It's a part of the human conditioning.
Yes.
And we can identify with it as that's who we are, or we can transcend it, which is what the Enlightenment process we're going through right now is, and realize there are actually a lot more. And we're not just our beliefs. As soon as I get into a conversation and it feels heavy to me, and it feels like we're comparing beliefs and butting heads and all that, if you can't go back into heart space with me, then I would walk away from that. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but I don't cater to the ego anymore.
Yeah.
There's no It's like a little child that just wants more and more candy. You'll never satisfy.
Yeah.
So I just walk away with it. Whatever makes me, whatever light is right to me, and that's what I honor, and I move forward and I move on.
Yeah, I think for me it's like a love-hate relationship, because I've been there, and I know why you're there. I know why you're doing that. So I got to show grace to you. I got to show love to you because I was there once, but I hate it because it reminds me of who I once was. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to battle you. I wanted to be right in every conversation,
Just because you can help someone doesn't mean they're ready for it. I learned that the hard way. Just you see them and you're like, I could help you so easily. I know the answers. I've been through there, and you want to help that part of you from the past, but just like something helped you when you were ready for it, that didn't include someone sitting there talking to you, maybe for certain people, they just have to go through it the harder way or a different route, right? But I know what you mean.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, this walk, this awakening process, it's not a curse. As far as being like bipolar, I've been one of the biggest ones of it all. I've wanted to follow the path that God has put me on, but then again, I wanted to still remain respectable amongst my peers. I wanted to be the Christian evangelist that I've been since 2004. You know what I'm saying? Actively being praised in churches and being praised for sharing my story and things like that. But then God's calling me out to something deeper, or I'm seeking God for something deeper to show me who you are, show me the deep things, and He begins to reveal it, and then I begin to speak it, and it's not accepted. So I'm going back and forth. Okay, should I share it? Do I share it? I believe this. I don't believe this. Whatever makes you happy, I believe it. And you're going back and forth to find out how in the hell do I function being a spiritually advanced person in this mundane, carnal religion that I'm a part of. And so you find out that they only accept you if you, like you said, you believe what they believe. So you have to have these, these 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 things. We all believe on this. Okay, we can all talk about this, and this, but I can't talk to you about this, even though it's in the Bible, even though it's in the Quran, whatever. I can't mention it because it would blow your lid. It would blow your mind. You can't handle it, even though I believe it, even though I'm passionate about it. I'm passionate about this truth. I can't share it with you because you'll reject me. You'll forget about me. You'll talk bad about me. So that's what we go through, and that's where it draws the fork in the road. And so everybody who's going through that, just know that you're in good company. It's not just you. It's not just me. It was all the sages, all of the seers, anyone who had a new way of understanding or a different way of understanding, a different way of interpretation, you're gonna be mocked, you're gonna be laughed at, and then eventually they're gonna accept it, they're gonna receive it. People are gonna come. So stay true to what you believe, and if you know in your hearts of hearts that you're doing the right thing, do it.
Yeah. Do you want to live your life in order to get a pat on the back to say, we like you? Or do you want to live your life so that at night before you go to sleep, you're like, I express my true authentic self, and I express the truth in my heart, and I feel fulfilled now. So there is a question you have to ask yourself. Do you want to feel that divine soulful fulfillment by being who you're, speaking what comes to you naturally, like in your heart? Or do you want to get that acceptance from a group of people that it's a conditional love that you have, where it's like, we love you only if you are like us, and as soon as you be who you might, outside of that, we might not accept you anymore. But when you go through that and you get the rejection, you think you're alone, and then you find out who you are and you find God and all that, and then you start speaking your truth, you will then, after that transition, start to surround yourself and find more and more people like yourself, just like we connected, and we're like, yeah, we can be who we want, and we could speak about anything, and and instead of me feeling rejection toward you, it's the complete opposite. Now we're connecting with the right soul group, with people who are vibing on a similar wavelength, and more work can be done that way, and more impact and more empowerment, and we can make a bigger difference. And I think now the difference we're making, just you being born, just you being here, vibrationally, every thought you think, every loving gesture that you do, it's just like ripple effect. And I really wish that, and I know before we die that we will know how every little thing we're doing has an impact. And when we know that, it's like that's when we'll just start laughing, because wow, we're so powerful. We can make a huge difference just by thinking things, feeling things, just to know how powerful it is to do that. And sometimes just on a vibration level, our consciousness raising, our having fun and laughing, how it impacted the classrooms when we were kids, and how it's impacting the planet now, come from that place.
Yeah, because once you truly become, or you begin to accept not really have everybody accept you, but once you accept yourself, it's okay. This is me. This is who I am. I'm comfortable in my body. I have questions, but I'm comfortable. It's fun. I don't know it all. Most of this stuff, what we're talking about, has been hidden. This isn't New Age. It's nothing new. I kind of have a problem with that term New Age, because in the Christian community it's used as a curse word. Oh, he's New Age, watch out. But to understand, there's nothing new. This is old age. This is the stuff that the prophets and the seers practiced. All of the stuff that we're talking about, all of the understanding and the knowing and the spiritual giftings and the prophesying and the speaking in tongues and the going into trances and dreaming dreams and having visions and hearing voices and seeing angels and seeing vehicles of light in the sky. This is all in your Bible. Yeah. All this has happened. This isn't new. We're not making it up. We're not ushering in a new age. This is old. We are returning back, repenting, going back to the former things, much like the Bible says, to return back to the former things, because we've lost it. Just turn on the television. Just go to a local church. We've lost it. We got to return back. So we are forerunners, not to something new, but to something very old, something not lost, but to something forgotten.
Truth, I would love to either share a song or share some of the infinite healing, or
okay. Well, that's what I wanted to move this next part into. I wanted to talk about your music, and we'll actually transition into that, and then we'll transition into some healing. Okay. And I get a lot of messages on Facebook. A lot of people want me to check their music, and YouTube, they want me to listen to their music, and I listen to a lot of it. And I think it's like this for any genre. So if it's good, it's good. Rather you like what they're talking about. Good music is good music. But when I heard your music and I seen your page and stuff, and I seen your Facebook and stuff, I went to check it out. And you're always kind of reluctant to hear, okay, it's another artist, let me check him out. And I heard it, I was like, okay, he can flow. He's talking about some good things. He's using big words. He knows what he's talking about. He's not trying to be like somebody else. He's coming original, and he's got a positive message. And you're actually good. So that was why I contacted you for the show, because it was before I really understood a lot of the healing practices that you offer and that you're into. It was totally on a music relationship that I actually reached out to you. So first of all, just let everybody know who listens, he goes by the name of LSD, Lovingly Spreading Divinity. And you can check out his music. It's some awesome stuff. If you're a fan of my music, definitely check out his work. You could check him out. He's actually got his music on a website. It's actually TarekBibi.com. And if you go to the product section, he's got it up there. So definitely go there and check out his music. But so when we transition over to the music, how did you get started in music? Like what inspired you, and what inspired you to do spiritual music at that?
Well, Truth, first of all, thank you so much for sharing that, and it's really important to me because it's all tied together, because music is healing. When I'm listening to your music, like I was listening to before this call, and the samples you have, the words you're using, like that's healing to me. And I think I got caught in the healing world doing healing work, energy healing and hypnotherapy, and just advancing that and taking to the next level and being really good at it, really being able to help people shift their lives from the traumas they've experienced and forgiveness and all that special healing work. I'm great at it, but I always felt at the back of my mind, my higher self or my inner guidance was saying, Tarek, you're also very good at writing words and using music and rap as a way of expressing truth, and I kind of put that on the back burner for the longest time, and now more than ever I feel like, Spirit's like, get your music out there, stop playing it small, and I've been battling with that, but I think it was grade 10. I had a lot of stuff bottled up inside. I never really expressed myself as much as I wanted to, and discovered rap music and just started writing these silly rhymes and just having fun with it and just memorizing the words to the songs and just starting to rap those songs, and just started there. And high school we had a talent show and we did our first rap performance, and music's been healing to me, man. Music's been there for me when no one else was. So something magical about it shifts our state of being and helps us connect better to our deepest self. And so it just kept evolving. I kept writing and getting better and better, and turning, random. Sometimes they come out like these streams of consciousness that will just like pour out of my being, just like an artist, just like letting it go and just letting it flow, and then I would take those words and turn them into verses, turn them into rap songs. So been 10 years of kind of resisting and slowly moving forward, and now there's a poetry album, there's a first rap EP, and we just completed, so we're launching the second rap EP called Label Me Infinite, and it's going to be launched on my birthday on March 23rd, and we're very proud of it. Really powerful songs, a rap song about God, and emotional songs, and they also integrate healing energy throughout the album. I'm answering too much for your question, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, what are some of the comments you've been getting back from people as far as listening to your music?
I hear this a lot. Like I loved hip hop when it first started, and I stopped listening to it because of all the crap on the radio.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Even people were like, I didn't think I liked rap music, but now after hearing the words we're using, so it's more about what we're saying, and if we're saying something that's meaningful and it's truth and is inspiring and motivational, then that's what people want to hear. So just hearing stuff like that really is giving me just sparking me to want to take this out and share it with everyone who's ready to resonate with it.
Yeah.
There's a huge movement now in the music industry with, forget the industry, we're creating our own, playing field, and you're a player in that field, I'm a player in the field, and a lot of other players, and I think we're doing things for ourselves, and we're doing it for our listeners. We don't need any middle person, I believe. I don't know where I'm going with that. Just the music industry. I heard a lot of negative things about it, but we can do it on our own. We never needed that. Yeah,
the tools are out there now for anybody listening to really take advantage of. I mean, there are some middlemen that can actually help you on a very small, independent level, as far as actually submitting your music to a medium such as CD Baby, that actually gets your music on iTunes, and then you start making royalties off of that, as far as even when your music's played on YouTube. And it's not that, okay, we're in it for the money, we want to do it full time and get paid, blah, blah, blah. No, it just helps to fund the music, to pay for promotion, to pay for other people's studio time. When you want to buy a feature from somebody who you have to pay for their studio time, all that stuff comes into play. And I think everyone should capitalize off of that, because the tools are there. Even if you give your music away for free, I would say put it on iTunes and CD Baby, so that every time your music's played on YouTube or Spotify or something like that, they send you a check. It's basically free money. If you're promoting your music through these mediums anyway, why not? So when you take advantage of something like that, you don't need to sign a record deal, because guess what? When you do sell an album, you get to keep the profits. You don't get $3 on every album to put back towards your next album. You get the whole thing to fund back into your project, or to support your family or whatever. So there are tools out there, and I actually like trying to help people who are doing it independently, to tell them how they can make money just off the internet. I'm not even doing shows. I haven't done shows in a long time, and I haven't done any shows with my new material. But when we do a podcast, my song will play, will be played at the end of the podcast, and just by simply clicking on it, I'm gonna make money off of it. And so anybody out there who's trying to do it independently, use the tools that are there for you to use for free. Utilize them, and like you said, you can cut out the industry, you can cut out the middleman, and everyone can do it independently now. Everybody can be Immortal Technique now, because he's the one who's been pushing that whole thing, as far as like doing it independent, no record deal. And then you have other people who are coming up as well, artists like Hobson, who when he wanted a deal or got signed to a record deal, it didn't work out. So they created a cult-like following fan base of people who really felt their music and felt the message, to where, hey, we don't need a label anymore. We're selling T-shirts, we're selling out venues, our music's all over the internet. Why do we need to give you our money, And so it's really understanding that, because there is a business mindset behind it. You have to have a business mindset. It's not just, just throw it out there and it'll come back maybe. No. If you don't need to take money from your family to fund your hobby. Your gifting, your talent should make room for itself. And if it isn't, if you're a musician listening to this, or if you're an artist, you're a painter, if you have to fund your own talent, you need to get it to a place where it's able to pay for itself.
Yeah, and I really feel that two things there. One is we are taking our power back, and it's happening on all levels, and music is one of the levels that we're taking our power back. And the other thing is that if in the new world, in this new earth that we're co-creating right now, this potential for truly heaven on earth exists, if every single one of us simply did what is the thing that just makes you light up the most, the thing that is your God-given talent. If we do that, and if we can thrive doing that, imagine the whole planet, every single person doing what they love doing and that they're great at doing, and that creates the most impact on all levels, including spiritually. imagine how powerful that would be. And I feel
Yeah.
has been there for a while, and it's getting stronger and stronger, and more people leaving corporate America and jobs that they hate, and going towards those things. But there's that middle phase that we talked about earlier. You have to go through that stuff. That you have to go deep down into the darkest part of yourself and come out of that. And there's no escape. So if you lost your job, you lost your relationship, that's part of the divine plan. You need to go through that work, and then after that, find that thing that you love doing and get out there and share it in a big way. And I'm really just preaching to myself right now, because it's time for me to get my music out there in a huge way, and I feel it. Everything's lining up for that. So.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I personally long to see, and I know I'm not the only one, everyone doing what they long to do. If you're a painter, why shouldn't you paint? If you're a musician, why shouldn't you be able to make music? You know, but the way the 9 to 5 goes, and the family and the work and the stress and the bills and everything adds up, it's hard to make music, man. Sometimes it's hard to, let the creative side of me flow when I've got to deal with a lot of stuff, you know. But so a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, reach deep down and they let that influence their art. They let that influence, you know what I'm saying, they let their struggle influence their art, and it comes out with you know what I'm saying, people like Tupac, and people that you know what I'm saying, had a message, and people who taught people how to cope, you know what I'm saying. So music is, you know what I'm saying, powerful, man, and that's why we're doing this podcast. But so yeah, man, I guess at this point, if you want to bless us with a song, man, with one of your verses, man, definitely this would be the time to do that.
Love to. Thanks for the opportunity. So this is off the new album called Label Me Infinite. In terms of if you ever felt labeled ADHD or whatever the hell other infinite labels they have, like, truth is, if you want to label me something, label us infinite, because that's who we are. We are infinite beings. We're from the infinite creator, and you know, that's it. So the song literally is me, you know, having this connection with God, and not honoring it in a song until this moment where I decided, you know, it's time. I want to do a song, and it's completely dedicated to you and my connection to you. So called The Prophet. Here it goes. I'm letting go into a place I've never been before, bringing back home. Love lift me up, hold me tight, send me your love, let me bathe in your light. Guide me to open up my heart and shine bright. Starlit sky with a full moonlight. The whole universe is inside of my mind. Channel in infinity, synchronistically. Kiss me, remind me of true love. So simple, yet you always blow my mind. I look for you everywhere, but I can't find. Till I connect inside. Till I close my eyes and connect inside. Love like no other, not like my mother, not like my father, not like my brother, not like mine. Your love is divine, and believe me, I'm trying. Believe me, I'm trying. So let ego, so here we go. Surrender to the moment, going with the flow. Elevated state of mind, poetry and rhyme. It's only you and I till the day we shine so bright. And these rhymes feel so tight, sight beyond sight. I ask that all my thoughts be pure. I ask that all my pain be cured. Guide me to be all I've come here to be. Guide me to see all I'm able to see. Guide me to heal all I'm able to heal. To always remember, awaken pretenders, never surrender, love's defender. No need for corrections, we're in need of a blessing. Singing our way to a new existence, coexisting with everything. We're here, right now. Love finds its way back somehow into our hearts and minds. It's truly divine, we're newly aligned. Let's enjoy the ride and smile. Cause this is the best time to be alive, to be alive. This is the best time to be alive.
It's beautiful, man.
Thanks.
Tarek Bibi. Yeah, man. It's awesome. It actually reminds me of my music as well.
Yeah.
Just how it's just coming. It's just, I mean, you just sing it from your spirit, you know. And a lot of the words you're saying is like, you know what I'm saying, just, you know, it's very reminiscent of my work, and I kind of, you know, you can tell when somebody's forcing it.
Yeah.
And I've been in places where I've had to force it as far as, you know, writing songs and meeting a deadline. And I'm kind of there now on a project that I'm trying to finish up. I think I've said everything I needed to say, but we still got more songs to get done, and I've said everything I needed to say, so I'm like, oh my God, what do? I don't want to just put something out there. I want to sing from my spirit. I want to have a message. I want to feel every word that I'm saying, because every word that you said, I felt it. And that's what matters. That's how you create music that has longevity. See, a lot of people can create music that even gets popular, but it's still a fad. It's gonna, 6 months from now, 3 months from now, it's gonna fall off. You're not gonna remember it. If you start talking about some of the stuff that was playing on hip hop radio, that was getting a lot of spins 6 years ago, and we talk about it, people will laugh that fad came and went. But when you speak from your spirit, it's timeless. It's gonna have longevity. It's gonna be like Bob Marley. It's gonna be like John Lennon, all the greats, Elvis, Nirvana. All these people who spoke what was on their heart. They didn't just, okay, I'm actually a songwriter, I'll write the song and sell it to you and you rap it. It doesn't work like that. When it comes from your spirit, other people can feel it. When you were spitting that, I felt it, and I know everybody who was listening felt it as well. So thanks for doing what you're doing, man, for doing the healing work and doing the energy work, and then taking that, mixing it up, and putting it in music as well, so that people will have another medium to receive it, and they can put it in their car and they can actually vibe to it. And while they're listening to it, they're dealing with energy, they're dealing with light, they're dealing with love, and they're dealing with understanding by simply listening to your music. It's powerful. It really is.
Great. Thank you, man. Thanks for sharing.
That's what's up, man. So yeah, if anybody wants to check him out, you can go to his Bandcamp page, which is LSDVINITY, which is lsdivinity.bandcamp.com. You can go there and listen to the full album and actually purchase some of the music as well. He's got several links, or you can go straight to the website, TarekBibi.com, purchase the music off there, support what he's doing. So if we was to move on to talk about healing, what are some of the different healing benefits that you offer people? Whether it's over the telephone or if they come into a session, what are some of the different healing aspects that you offer people?
Yeah, Truth, how much time did we have planned for the rest of the show?
We've really got as much time as we want, but we usually go 2 hours.
Okay. Well, here's something that I normally do on the call, and if I'm gonna integrate it into the call. So, this is not me. This is source energy, God's energy, universal energy, or you can say it's your higher self integrating into the call, into the actual. Every time we listen to this call, it's gonna have that energy running through it. So my intention, the theme that came to me today when I went on a nature walk thinking about this call today, was the theme of know thyself. So the way this healing would work is simply I become the facilitator with an intention. My intention is for us to know ourselves, to know who we really are at the deepest level. And so how can you receive the healing? The healing's always been there. It's all around us. Source, God, universe is right there every second of every step of the way that we're taking. The only thing that stops that is ourselves, like we talked about. That anger gets in the way, that not wanting to forgive gets in the way. So what opens it up is just our acknowledgement. No one's going to step in and do our work, but what we can do is say, yes, God, help. And when we give that sacred yes, we're giving it permission. We're using our willpower, because all these loving light beings respect our willpower, and they can't bypass that. They can't say, I'm going to force this person to evolve. Mm-hmm. They honor it. They could watch us suffer for years and just honor the fact that on some level we're choosing that. So if you'd like to receive, I call it an infinity healing, because it's coming from the infinite creator, from infinite love, from infinite wisdom, and it's connecting to you through your higher self, and it's creating infinite things for you, whether that's you're letting go of belief systems, whether that's letting go of fears, emotions, blockages, cords, attachments, some negative beings or energies, whatever it is. Like, your higher self knows exactly what's going on with you and knows exactly what to do for you. So if you would like an infinity healing, to receive one, to know yourself, to know who you really are, the truth of your being. And in Scripture it says, know thyself so that you can know God. Isn't that right, Truth?
Yeah, that's in the Gospel of Thomas, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's the theme of our call. Know thyself, then we can know God. We want to know God. We want to experience God as opposed to being told what that is. So if you'd like an infinity healing to clear everything that's stopping you from knowing your true self and therefore knowing one God, if you'd like to receive that, just declare out loud by saying yes. And when you say yes, you're giving permission to your higher self that's running the show, not me, not Truth, not anything, just your higher self is saying, okay, I'm opening up to Source, God, Creator, and I'm receiving what needs to be received. I'm letting go of what needs to be let go of. And then when we listen to this, and you'll notice in the next few days or weeks or months ahead, that you're getting to know yourself on a deeper level, and you're also getting to know God on a deeper level. So just to recap that, if you'd like to receive the infinity healing to know thyself, if you'd like that, just say yes out loud. And this could be live on the call now, or it could be on the podcast in the future. It doesn't matter. An energy process will start, and you can notice the changes might be subtle or they might be huge. But either way, connect with us and share. We'd love to hear the feedback.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't the first time that we've done podcasts where they were kind of interactive, where people felt the energy, felt the power and the healing and the electricity over the call, and even to go back and listen to it again and get something else out of it, and just feel the point of when you're saying simply, yes, I receive it, or praying a prayer, the answer is yes. So when you're dealing with your higher self, I don't have everything down to a formula. I don't know if you do. I try to. I'm still figuring out as I go. There's some things that I have down. There's some things to me that are absolutes. There's other things that I go into meditation and I encounter beings. Some may be benevolent entities that have been watching over me, and they appear. Others times I feel like I'm receiving information from my higher self, the part of me that knows what's best for me, Yeah. Can you explain the higher self a little bit?
Yeah. Again, remember how, just to take on what you said earlier, is how to use the terminology to basically reach most people. Forget the word higher self and think of, we know what the false self is. In order to know what we are, the first thing we can do is eliminate what we're not. And we're not that monkey mind chatter that happens in our head 24/7. That's not who we are. That's just a part of us. It's the mind going on and thinking about yesterday, and this guy did this to me at work, and that's not who we are, right? That's not what we're aspiring to be. That's not what the prophets were talking about. So what were they talking about? Not the mind, or not the ego, which is the false self, which we talked about. I'm identifying, I am an American, I am a Christian, or I am an Arab, and I am a Muslim. That's not who we are. That's something that, as a child of God, we were told that's what we were, but we're more than that. So if we're not that monkey mind chatter, and we're not these things that we're identifying ourselves with, what does that leave us with? Some people say the true self, just the self that's not that, the real you, the you that you can get clarity from if you're sitting alone with you. Know thyself, like that self, exactly in that phrase, know thyself and you'll know God. That self that doesn't need to think of an answer, just knows it. Or that self that is just pure loving. That self, that's what I mean by higher self. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've experienced that. And going into a meditation, going into a trance, sometimes it's hard to really grasp and bring out all the information or all the energy that you encounter. And you just kind of just trying to hold on to any bit of it. and, you know what I'm saying, and hold on to it and pull it out, whether you have to write it down, which is the best way, is to actually write it down when you come out of a meditation or come out of a trance, so that you'll remember it. And the information is always what you need to hear, what you need to do, and some of it may not be no deep. It doesn't even have to be a deep revelation, like something awe-inspiring, or you are to do this as your calling, or something. Sometimes it's very simple, it's very practical, something that you need to do around the house that you haven't done. You need to clean this, you need to fix that, because this is putting you out of balance. You're spending too much time here and you're not able to spread yourself there. So a lot of times what I've noticed is when you go in to a meditation state or a trance-like state and you receive information, it's not always this deep, revelation experience of a life-changing experience. But sometimes it's very subtle, but being very subtle for that moment is very powerful.
I love that you said that. And even religion, like the most powerful stuff in Scripture, they're very simple truths, timeless, simple. And because you were saying you're not sure if it's like a good-hearted, good-intentional being or not, to me, my mechanism is very simple. If it feels light, it's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If it feels heavy, even if someone's telling me like light and love and angels and God and this, and they're saying all the right words, but when I'm hearing it, I'm starting to feel heavy and I'm all in my head. That's not from truth. That didn't come from someone's heart. Now, you can tell that when someone's talking. Like, you can feel into me and you talking right now, whoever is listening. I can feel into your energy. I know it's like from the heart space, and I hope you can feel it from mine.
Mm-hmm.
And when you speak from your heart, that's truth. That's coming from the real, what I call the higher self or the truer self. And that's how you know if it's true or not. You'll feel it inside if you'll resonate.
Mm-hmm. I want to open up the phone calls or the phone lines. There's some people who have been waiting patiently since the very beginning of the show to come on and say a few words. Or so if anybody wants to call, if you got a question or a comment, you can call in. The number is 724-444-7444, and then you'll enter the call ID number, which is 78643#. You'll enter your ID number, which is 1. And if you're in the chat room, you can see that all at the bottom of the chat window. All the information is at the bottom. So if you want to get a question in with Tarek, you can call in now. We'll take your call. And we actually have someone on the line who called earlier, and they said that they are a client of yours and they've been going through some of your healing processes and stuff, and maybe you can assist them a little bit further, or they can let us know what's going on, because they spoke highly of you. So we have a caller from Arizona. How's it going?
Oh, hi.
Hi,
Tarek.
who's this?
I just really got on the call. I felt guided. I saw you on Facebook and felt like I should be on this call for some reason. So here I am.
Thanks for following your intuition. What's your name?
Lori.
Lori. Hi, Lori.
Hi.
Thanks for being with us on the call.
Yeah.
How can I help you?
I don't know. What is your intuition tell you?
Well, I mean, usually when I do this, it's like, are you going through anything specific, Lori, where you feel blocked or you feel something? Where are you having your biggest challenges right now?
Working to manifest something in particular.
Sorry?
And that is it's a connection with my soulmate.
You're having you want to connect with someone like soulmate, and you're having a hard time with that?
I'm working to manifest it.
Okay. What's coming up for you? Are you trying to connect with people and not finding yourself able to do that?
I said I'm trying to connect with my soulmate.
Yeah. And what's coming up? Like, are you connecting with anyone at all, or no one? Or some people, but they're not the right fit? What's going on?
I am connected with him already, but I'm working to unite with him as one.
Okay. Truth, I don't know if you can relate to this, but I feel a lot of people that I connect to, we're having a hard time connecting with someone who's a good fit for us on all levels. So we can do this, Lori, together if you'd like to join in a healing. And we're also going to open it up that if anyone on the call feels that there's something stopping you from being able to unify yourself with someone you can call a soulmate or someone who you really would love to connect with on a deep level, but something stopping that from happening, then you can just say yes to this healing, okay? Lori, are you ready?
That is awesome, Tarek.
Okay, awesome. So, Lori, just take a deep, conscious, deep belly breath and release. And I'm simply facilitating your higher self's running the show, connected to God, Source, Universe, whatever term you prefer. And you want to give a yes or a permission to your higher self to powerfully connect you to that Source, to God, to love, to light. If you like that, say yes. Yeah. And if there's anything stopping you, getting in the way of interfering, sabotaging you from being able to unify with your ideal partner in a way that is for your highest good, if there's anything interfering with that, whether it's a belief, an emotion, a fear, whatever it is, if you'd like your higher self to start a process now, an infinity healing, to clear that, to release that, to do all that it knows to do that is for your highest good for that, if you'd like that, just declare out loud by saying yes.
Yes, please.
Okay. Just, again, take a deep belly breath. Release. Okay. And how do you feel now compared to how you felt before?
Very different, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I'm feeling more like I'm floating now, where I didn't feel that so much anymore before.
Okay. Lori, is there anything going on in your right shoulder area?
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels really heavy. So can we do a real process for that? Because I'm feeling it very strongly. Maybe it's coming up to be cleared.
That'd be totally awesome, Tarek.
Beautiful. So very simple technique. It's visualization. Just visualize a white, like a volleyball-sized white ball of light. Just visualize it right there next to your right shoulder. And we don't need to know what that is. It just feels heavy. I'm really sensitive. I feel those things. So place the ball of light right there. And just imagine this ball of light like a vacuum cleaner, just absorbing whatever that is. If it's a heavy emotion, a burden, or some guilt, or some fears, whatever it is, just releasing it into the ball of light. Okay, and as soon as it's being released, let the ball of light transmute that energy back into love, light, and let your higher self or your soul or let God replace that space with a higher vibration, like a love vibration, a blissful, joyful vibration. Okay, and just let this process continue on its own in its own time, in its own manner, and we're just leaving it on autopilot. So just bring back all your energy into your body, ground yourself into your feet, feeling your feet touch the ground, and yeah. Do you feel better now in your shoulder area?
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, great. Beautiful. Okay, well, listen, take extra good care of yourself and drink lots of water and just see what happens the next few days, the next few weeks, and just shoot me a message or shoot both of us a message. Let us know how what came out of this, okay?
I think that sounds wonderful. I wanted to say one more thing, too, is, just talking about all of the mother and father stuff growing up. I did like you can focus on all of that. That'd be awesome.
I'm having a hard time hearing you. Could you try that again?
If you were focusing earlier, you and the host were focusing on mother and father issues. If you could doing on that. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks again. Yeah, it's amazing whenever you are dealing with the visualization techniques, and sometimes it takes somebody to actually walk you through that to help you. I've seen power in it. I'm visualizing some things as well. And, while I got you on the line, man, maybe you can help me.
Yeah, I'd love to, man. That would be such an honor.
Yeah, I'm wanting to take my music to the next level. Like, what I'm saying? Like I said, I haven't done any shows or any concerts with my new material, and I've been working on this new material since 2012. I've put out 2 albums. I've yet to do a live concert, and I'm seeing visions. I know that it would be accepted in certain arenas, certain festivals, things like that. I know it wouldn't be accepted in a lot of places, but I'm just, what I'm saying, I think I see it in my third eye, but I want to step into it. But I don't want to stress out about it, because at times I've stressed about it. And I just want to open the doors, walk through them quite naturally, if you can help me out with that.
Definitely, I'd love to. So, I when you said that earlier, I was actually very shocked. I thought that's something that you would be doing. But obviously there's a reason for it, and 2012, and there's such a demand for the kind of message that you're sharing. Now more than ever, people are so hungry for this that they're settling for something that's second best. But we have truth here, and it's growing. It's maybe a smaller group of people, but it's a growing minority that are fully do so. It's time. Okay, so. Again, we don't. So the mind wants to know why this is happening and what's going on, but we don't need to cater to the mind. We're catering to the higher self. Your heart space, your soul knows. Your soul knows exactly what's going on. God knows exactly what's going on and what's stopping you from moving forward. So let's leave it up to the divine. So allowing that energy, just however you like to visualize it. Whether it's that light pouring down to your head, or you just connecting to God, however you want to do that, and just feeling it in your being, that special sacred connection when you go to prayer or when you're meditating, and just knowing that this intelligence, infinitely healing, infinitely loving, knows exactly what's going on, knows exactly what to do, and just wants the best for you. So if you would like an infinity healing truth to clear what's stopping you from getting out there, from performing more, or from getting on more stages and fulfilling the visions that you've had, and doing all the things your heart desires to do in terms of music and getting it out there. If anything's stopping that from happening with ultimate ease, with ultimate grace, in such miraculous ways, if you'd like to start a process for God, Source, Universe to clear everything that's in the way of that happening right now with ultimate ease and grace, if you'd like that, say yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And just also what we could do with infinity healing is just really ask for and pray for some easy, fast, miraculous manifestation. So knowing that the universe, God, Source, wants what's for your highest good. So can we please have the rest of our music and everyone else on the call, all the things that your heart desires, think of the things you've been wanting to do that there's something stopping you from doing it. So if you'd like Source, God, Universe to just line everything up for you, just to have it all set up for you, just to have all the synchronicities, all the coincidences, all the, the marriages, the tours, whatever, everyone, all the events, the promotions, everything kind of lined up in such a easy, graceful, miraculous way. If you'd like that, just say yes.
Yes.
And some people say you can't just pray for it and it's going to happen. You're going to have to do something about it. So in those specific moments, truth, when you feel it in your heart, something nudging you to do something, to call this person, to take some baby step forward, to take some inspired action, if you'd like those nudges to be magnified and multiplied so that you can't help but acknowledge them, if you'd like that, say yes.
Yes.
Yeah. and just to feel as if there's like a million angels moving you forward, or however many number of angels just moving you forward in that direction when the time is right to do the thing that is in alignment with you. If you'd like to have that fire ignited and that inspiration, motivation, and dedication to do that, to have that in the right time, in the right moment, if you'd like that, say yes.
Yes.
Okay, and then I usually end just with or conclude with a thank you, God, and so it is.
Yes, thank you, Most High. Thank you, Infinite Wisdom. I believe it, I receive it. Amen. Yes, thank you, man.
You're welcome. And
I actually, yeah, I do, man. Just while you were speaking, I was just connecting. I was making the visualizations, and with everything you were saying, I felt the energy the whole time, and so I'm definitely open to synchronicities. I see synchronicities happening in a lot of places, strange places. I want to see them in the right places, they happen all the time, and I see them all the time. But, I know it's on, God's perfect timing. It's not on, my timing. I have to be ready, and I can kind of see what God's doing a little bit. I see, him setting up the pieces and getting everything ready. So for this next transition, I just want to be able to deal with it and not doubt it. You know what I'm saying? Like doubt, okay, well, it's over for, kind of feeling like it's over for me for concerts. Like I missed that point, and I'm just going to be an internet rapper or just sharing my music online, because I've built a huge following of people who support me and who would come see me at concerts. So it's just the next thing. Locally, I've kind of, ruined my name with the whole going back and forth, and I'm a Christian rapper, a gospel artist, so I'm speaking on New Age or esoteric topics. So people are like, okay, they don't know what I'm bringing to the table. So locally, they really don't want to, deal with it. But I have a huge fan base online, and I have a lot of people who love me and support me and who love my music, and so I'm ready to take it to that, next stage. So, I've got a lot of performances under my belt, but it was mostly in youth centers and churches and youth events and things like that. So I've played a couple club gigs and some big shows and stuff, but ready to take it to the next stage.
Good, man. Good. And that part of us that we can all relate to, that little voice in the head that says, this is it, or is it ever going to happen again? Everyone has that, and even the prophets had moments where they're like, really? Speaking a word, God, are people actually going to believe a word that I'm going to say? Like, doubt is just part of the human condition, and I really feel like, the path that we've been on, and people on the call can relate to, really made us humble. We didn't grow up feeling like we were the shit. We were God's gift to humankind. We were had that humility. We had that being humbleness, and I really feel, Spirit works through people like us, because we have that humility. We're more in the heart space as opposed to in our ego. So that's a beautiful quality, but we also don't want to buy into anything the mind says, because it's just trying to protect us the best way it knows how, like an overprotective mom who's like, no, don't go outside, don't date anyone again because the first one broke your heart, So that's the way the mind tries to protect us. It says, don't do that because something bad might happen. And, thank you, mind, for trying to protect me and trying to help me, but my heart has this under control. God has this under control. We're taken care of. Thank you. So we kind of have to have a dialogue within ourselves. And about, the local area, you can't please everyone, right? There's always going to be someone who's not going to like what you do, and there's always going to be someone who does vibe with what you do. And the more we focus on the ones that do resonate with us, that's all that, even the people who are angry at us or are judging us, they're receiving some form. They're somehow receiving the blessing that we're sharing through our music, and that's just their way of stage one benefiting from it. Maybe stage two it sits in, and then stage three they're like, oh yeah, then they'll start to get it. Who knows? But all reaction is actually a positive if you look at it that way.
Yeah, and like I totally understand that the scriptures talk about that a prophet is 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 actually without honor in his hometown, like, because they know who you are, they know your flaws, they know your mistakes, they know what you've done, they know you're just a regular person. But so how you're just a regular guy, but then you claim that you're in touch with God, you're a regular guy, and you claim that you hear from the divine, really? So a prophet is without honor in his hometown, and I definitely see that, ringing true here. And it's not just me, it's a lot of other people, so I know I'm in good company as well. So we've actually got a couple more calls on the line, and we'll just see if they call, if they have something they want to add or they want to receive healing. We got a call from Northeast Illinois.
Hey, Matt.
What's up, brother?
Hey, I have a comment about music and then a question relating to that comment. First off, as we all know, words are extremely powerful. There's life and death in the tongue, and not only can they build and destroy other people, but they can build and destroy ourselves, and our self-affirmations or or ripping apart ourselves can either heal or hurt us. And that's sometimes one of the most powerful forces that can influence ourselves, our consciousness, and the words that we speak. And I was along those same lines today. For some reason, I was listening to the secular radio, and all these songs kept coming up with all of these negative reinforcements, either towards ourselves or towards others. And even though they're really, really good songs, they have terrible words to repeat, such as self-affirmations that there's nowhere we can hide with the beast inside because of all the demons I have, or however the song goes. And another one that says, I know we'll die in the hellfire, or let's die as unbelievers. Another one was, I didn't realize it before, but that song Black Hole Sun by Soundgarden?
Oh, yeah.
That's the Black Hole Sun she refers to in the part of the Qliphoth, which is like the dark side, like Kabbalah, which is basically like, that's the Lord of the dark light, or the false light, kind of like a black sun, and it's calling for it to come and to wipe away the rain, which biblical terms refers to the blessings of God. And so when we repeat these things, they can wreak havoc on our minds and on our souls and on the lives of ourselves and those around us. And so my question is, along those lines, do you know of any musical communities or online groups that are dedicated to like labeling, or not just putting forth good music, but compiling lists or groupings of people that only have positive music, that have positive reinforcements in their lyrics, that would generally uplift instead of tear us down or invite darkness into us? And that question is to both of you as musicians.
TruthSeekah.
I would, yeah. Where do we start? Man, it's crazy. I mean, you know that I'm affiliated with LCOB, the Lost Children of Babylon, very much influenced by their music. And some of their music can be light and day as well. Some of their music can be so uplifting and so etheric that just listening to their music takes you to a higher state of reality. And, it's amazing. But then they have other phases of their music and other songs that are just so dark and, you know what I'm saying, sadistic. It's like, where the hell did that come from, So, I know there is that light and dark, and it makes perfect sense, because I just had somebody today break a CD. They actually broke a 3-6 Mafia CD, and they was going to send it to me, but they got the new CD, and they were listening to it for a long time, and they broke it, and they took a picture and sent it to my Facebook because I used to do the thing where I would give people free music if they would break their CDs that promoted drugs and violence and things like that. If they actually broke their CD, I would send them one, and he actually did that. So it's kind of awesome that you sent in, that you called in with the question. Obviously, I know you're a believer, so a lot of Christian music, there's a lot of Christian music that you can listen to that's actually good and powerful. There's a huge difference between talent and anointing. Somebody can produce good music, but it's not anointed to usher in the presence of God or take you into the throne room of God. But there is music out there, definitely in the Christian arena. There's Bethel music. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but a lot of their music, man, I've had supernatural, encounters by listening to their music. Bethel music, you can look them up. Stephanie Frizzle, anybody who's listening, if you haven't heard them, they are, Christian music, but it's just simply music singing to God. They're just singing to God. I've had encounters. I don't know if you've had any encounters with their music at all, Matt. Have you?
I actually have, and I absolutely love Bethel music. Mm-hmm. Especially, they're kind of a branch out, but they're still part of the same covering, Jesus culture. Mm-hmm. And their stuff just, I've seen the energy that it invokes, and it is angelic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's powerful, man. But it's something that I struggle with as well. That I catch myself trying to find good music, and I'm like, okay, I may try to justify it like I'm listening to the style. But if I listen to it too much, I'm like, oh my God, I can't listen to this. There's no way. I'm starting to actually remember what these people are saying, which is not good, because music is powerful, obviously, and so what I'm saying. That's what the show's about. So we use music as a weapon, and music is our warfare, so yeah, definitely check out Bethel music. Check out my music, TruthSeekahMusic.com. I know you've already checked out mine. So what about you, Tarek? You got anything that you can refer to other than what we've been speaking about?
To the people who came on the call or can listen to this through my network, please to check out the challenge that TruthSeekah has, where you just, if you have any CDs that you feel are like ill intent, just break them and take a picture. Or what do? Send it to you, and then you'll get one of his copy of his album. But your music, LS Divinity, is all about that higher vibration through rap music. I feel like the evolution now, whatever genre of music people are in, it's turning kind of gospel. It's turning towards higher vibration songs from the heart. So I think it's not in the mainstream for sure. You're not going to hear it on the radio, but it's like, check out SoundCloud. Like for now, I'm hitting up all these open mics in my neighborhood, and I'm just hearing people pouring out so much love in their songs, and they're just regular people that I never heard of before. So I want those people to be on my iPod list, as opposed to the mainstream stuff that has been infiltrated and has like lower vibration frequencies throughout it. So it's regular people like us that are singing from their heart in every genre that you can imagine. So that's what I do. I go to open mics, I support them, I buy their CDs, and that becomes what my mind listens to and gets inspired by.
Yeah. I can't get away without, mentioning, well, I just wanted to say I wanted to mention Medicine for the People. Matt, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with them, right?
Yeah, theirs is definitely uplifting.
Yes. Look up them. Anybody listening, Medicine for the People. Nahko Bear, NAHKO, Medicine for the People. Whenever I get out there crazy-headed or get too much on a religious side or whatever, when I listen to their music, it brings me back to the earth. It brings me back to Mother Nature. It gets me grounded. Look up a song on YouTube called Great Spirit by Medicine for the People and Nahko Bear. You definitely will not regret it, and you're going to send me a message thanking me for referring you.
Yeah, I just feel like also on YouTube there's this big awareness with frequencies and how we can use that technology of manipulating frequencies, and they're tuning it into the 528, which is like the love frequency, or there's even stuff that if you YouTube the word 432, see, whatever song that you kind of grew up listening to. I'm going back like into my the older songs that I used to listen to, and there's some really powerful songs you can tell were inspired by spirit, and on top of that they would tune it into the 432, which is the more natural way sound needs to be heard, and you know, that's what I'll just add to, like, I'll start creating my own playlist. So that's what I've been doing. But there is this huge call for wanting to hear, like, you know, spiritual music, like, you relate.
Yes. What you just said about that real fast, the 432 is the more natural cosmic resonance, and some people may agree, some may disagree, but there has been a conspiracy going on to, you know, the music industry is very dark, and they have standardized the 440 hertz tuning, and it's close enough to 432 to sound very similar, but it's off enough to get us out of harmony with the way that music should be listened to and flowed with. And it is powerful when you listen to it in its proper resonance. But along those lines, do you know of any bands that specifically, like from the beginning, add in solfeggio frequencies like 528 or any of the other ones that are not just meditation music, but actually like music?
I'm a huge Tool fan, man. And they put a lot of different timing signatures in their music, and they deal with the the Fibonacci sequence as well. They have a couple songs where they do that. Their timing, you know what I'm saying, signatures and patterns, and then the vocal, you know what I'm saying, what they're speaking about. Just their music by itself. Totally recommend. With you know what I'm saying, trying to find it. Yeah, just trying to take you to that you know what I'm saying, next stage, man. Listening to them, Tool, definitely.
If you Google Dr. Horowitz, he studied the whole, like, frequency stuff, wrote a lot about it, very wise brother. And he has a website completely dedicated to what you're asking about, like that higher vibration music with that intent. So there's some artists that have originally started off with that higher vibration frequency tone encoded into their music, and then the other ones, I think this is really cool for us too, Truth, we can actually submit our music to his website that's dedicated to these higher vibration artists, and they'll infuse that extra frequency layer onto the music. So just Google Dr. Horowitz and just type in like 528, and there should be his website, which is all the music, the high vibration music. I hope that you're able to connect to that site through that link.
I'm actually familiar with Dr. Horowitz, and I've actually spoken with him before. He's a nice guy, and actually your answer right there kind of answered my original question of the more kind of a collective dedicated to more positive music, or at least identifying it, because I doubt any darker, malicious music would want to have that love frequency attached to it.
Exactly.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm gonna look into it as well. Some pretty cool stuff. I'm on the site now. Yeah. But yeah, also too, you know, the show that we did last week with Eric Dollard, who is a electromagnetic scientist, which he studies that too. He takes it to that scientific level, not just the spiritual level, but he takes it to the scientific level. So he's giving you the scientific properties about everything that we're speaking about. And it was a really awesome show because everything that he spoke about and gave the scientific analysis on, I was tying scripture in there and using all the spiritual terms that he had no idea what I was talking about. But it actually flowed so well, though. it flowed so well because it's almost like the whole, religious thing where we're talking about the same thing, we're just using different words. And it's exactly what was going on. So that show, man, was amazing. It's well over I think it's 1,500 views, and I just uploaded it earlier this week. And it's amazing, man. There's a lot of people, following his work, and he's trying to get out there a little bit too and promoting his work and some pretty cool stuff. But I've actually found, which is a little bit harder for me to listen to, but I try to, is some of the work of Bach and Mozart. That music definitely is written in a way to take your spirit on a journey. And there's so many quotes by some of the greats like Pythagoras and some of his followers that talk about the power of music, how it's created not for entertainment but to take your soul on a journey, or to take your soul and connect your soul with the higher realms of divinity. And that's truly what music is. So even when we're going higher with these vibrations and frequencies and tones and lyrics, on the other hand, what's going on through Miley Cyrus and Lady Gaga and a lot of this other crazy stuff that's going on, they're taking your spirit down a different journey and meeting some different entities that you may not want to meet, and you may not want to cling on to you in the middle of the night. Yep. So music is very powerful, so we got to be careful what we listen to. And I feel confident behind a couple groups that I do listen to and I do promote. So
good. Yeah, I researched a lot about the music industry and how they like do these seances and attach demons and CDs, and I took all of that and I turned it into positive. So everything they did with the negative frequencies, I would put in the love. When they would send a negative entity, I would pray that whoever listens to the CD was surrounded by love. So we can definitely transmit that and do the positive version of that. And music is so powerful. That's why they spend so much to get into it and control it and manipulate it, because it's so powerful. So what we're doing is really powerful music, movement, and inspiration, and the songs stick in your head, and they're influencing how you think. Like, it's such a powerful medium. And what you're talking about with the interview, I listened to it, and a lot of us on the spiritual side, we're too right-brained, and then there's the people on the scientific side, they're too left-brained. But in order for us to move forward and be evolved and complete and ascend, like, we need to balance those two hemispheres, right? So we meet in the middle. Can I share a really quick song I wrote about music?
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right, real quick. It's a really short one. Musically connected, harmonics perfected, demonics rejected, truth self-acceptance, heavenly selected, divinely perfected. Do I need corrections? No, I need a blessing. Nico plays the keys, unlocking mysteries like Leo da Vinci's 5 to 8 frequencies. Music is sacred, used through ages by pagans and sages, natives and ancients. First there was the sound creating all creation, singing through slave ships, practicing patience, knowing love will save us, alchemically basic, forgiving mistakes like hatred from racists. Call me crazy, but music raised me. Music saved me since I was a baby. Everyone a note in God's symphony, so I'll sing till I'm free, and peace will all be.
Good stuff, man. Love it. Okay, we've actually got another caller on the line. I'm going to take this caller. But actually, before we move on from the whole putting the energy in the music, I actually had an experience. We did a song and a video to a song called Deliverance, and we talked about some of the demonic encounters that we had, as far as when I was a child, waking up in the middle of the night and having the shadow people laying on me and pinning me down to the bed, and seeing shadows in my room and things like that. And I wasn't the only one. It was 2 other artists on the song who had similar experiences, and we put it out there. We shot a video that brought to life our words. And before we released the song and before we released the video, we all went in the booth together and we all prayed. We all prayed warfare over it, that whoever was listening to it, if they were struggling, if they were dealing with any type of demonic attacks or anything like that, that it would stop, that they would have peace where the confusion was, that they would have light where the darkness was. And we had a lot of people hitting us up as soon as we released that song and video. Man, that song moved a lot of people, man. It touched a lot of hearts. So I know I know that there's power behind it. And ever since we did that, you know what I'm saying, my buddy who was on the song, he's hit me up every time. He's like, man, we got to pray over these songs. We got to put some energy on the songs. We got to release this song on, you know what I'm saying, on the full moon. We got to do this stuff right because there is power behind it. And it's so true. And I've seen it firsthand that when you get in there and do that, it totally helps. It totally helps.
I watched the video. It's really powerful, and we tried to replicate what happened when you were in bed, when you were a younger child. So, wow, very powerful video, and so deliverance. So I want to re-listen to that, knowing that you had that prayer into it. Wow.
Yeah, so we actually prayed over it and we recorded it in the booth, but we turned the audio all the way down. So the prayer and the frequencies and everything is still there. You just can't hear it, only feel it.
Beautiful.
You're going to be able to feel it when you listen to it. Yeah, it's amazing, man. So blessed to be a part of that song. But I tell you what was crazy. That song opened up so much warfare for us. Like, we all went through hell after we released that song.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think we were ready to, I don't think we were prepared to deal with what we dealt with after that song came out. There was a lot of stuff going on, and I was told I couldn't use the song, and we kind of butted heads, and people going through all types of marital problems and spiritual problems. It opened up the floodgates. So there's a quote by the band POD. So that's a band I refer to as well. If you want to check them out, they talk about a lot of spiritual issues, and they have a quote that says, "If you want to dance with the dead, you better be 10 times more deadly." And so don't deal with any of this stuff that we're talking about. I like to always give, somewhat of a disclaimer saying, hey, make sure you're living a good life. Make sure you're not robbing people, stealing from people, intentionally hurting people, you know what I'm saying, to get over, because you're dealing with spirits and you're dealing with entities, and it's going to catch back up with you. So be careful. Before you deal with anything, before you try to help people, make sure you're taking care of yourself. Before you point fingers at people, make sure that you're not doing the same things you're judging other people for, because it's gonna whenever you pull that slingshot back and let it go, it's gonna come back and hit you. So make sure that you're walking the walk if you're talking the talk. And I'm saying that with all love and respect,
Yeah, with the demons, I just feel like you're screwed if you don't do anything with your God-given talents, and then you're also screwed if you do use them. So it's like a lose situation.
Yeah.
Might as well go out, not go out, but move forward in life.
Yeah.
Feeling like, okay, at least they're attacking me now for doing something, as opposed to attacking me in my sleep for not doing anything.
Yeah. It's crazy because, like, my sister, like, years ago, because I would tell her about my demonic encounters and stuff years ago, and she wasn't a Christian or she wasn't a believer or a very spiritual person, but she was like, well, I don't really want to do what you're doing because right now they're leaving me alone. I don't want to see them in the middle of the night. I don't want them walking in my room. I don't want to mess with them, I don't want to scare them and stuff. So, that's not how it works. When you do tap into the spirit of God, into the spirit of Christ and Christ consciousness or whatever, like, you have authority over them. In the scriptures it says that Jesus, who is divine love, was given authority over all of them. And if we're walking in that divine love, then we have authority, because the Bible says perfect love casts out all fear. So we're walking in perfect love. We don't have to fear anything. So if you're not walking in that love, don't try to do anything spiritual. Just try to get yourself right. Don't try to do anything on the offense of trying to perform an exorcism or help somebody out in a way that spirits and entities can jump on you, man. And it's complicated. I'll say that, and that's for another show. I want to open up this phone line just to see if this person had a question. But there's another call from, I think, around you in Toronto, Ontario. Caller at the end of the show. What's going on?
Oh man, I'm loving everything you guys are saying. The best. My name is Luca Mele. I've met Tarek a couple times. I saw him at some event in 2012, and I really connected with what he was saying and followed his music. And now I know about you, so I'll be checking you out. What I want to say is two things. First, I like what you said about your mom and forgiving her, and that was able to clear up a lot of like the demon stuff and the dark energy and all that. Tarek, what you said about the going to school and how you felt going to school and the class clown thing, man, I related to that too, and everything else you guys said. I couldn't agree more. I couldn't even jump in and say anything, in the chat or anything. I just had to sit back and listen after a while because I was just loving everything you guys were saying. Now, I was going to say this as a question, but now I'm just going to kind of throw it out as a suggestion. I'm going to take the call off the line or the answer or whatever. Okay, I was going to say, should you guys, or will you guys be doing a song together, or even better, a collaboration album between the both of you guys, like just the two of you? And now I'm saying you guys should.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
All right, guys, have a great night, and I'll be listening till you guys are done. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Peace. Thanks for calling.
Thank you. That was a beautiful friend. Just got a record deal in the States. No assembly required, I believe is the band name. Just a heartfelt, beautiful brother, and he is more into the metal side of the music, which I know you have some songs where you have that influence.
Yeah.
Rap about, right? In my heart, I know, I'm not saying I want this, I feel like it's already happened, that there is going to be something between us in the form of collaboration. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I'm definitely down with people who are like-minded and who are actually good. It's different. Yeah. And I say this with all respect, is one thing with people who are like-minded and are not good, there's a barrier there. But people who are like-minded and they have talent, we can do that and make some beautiful music, man.
We have to unite. There's power in numbers, and if we're all for the same cause, like we're all joining forces for the one cause, that'll move us forward. Maybe we can have Luca and his band do the metal music for us. It's playful, it's fun, it's getting back to that inner child we were talking about, how it's not about like this heavy, like carrying the cross, moving forward and getting whipped on the way. Like, okay, maybe there was a time for that and we've been through that.
Yeah.
Let's get back to that playfulness and lightness and doing it if it feels fun and friendship, as opposed to that heavier way of doing it.
Yeah, I think it's and it's something I've been pondering a lot lately as far as listening to some of the heavier music. I see it more of, somewhat of like a warfare music, and some of the stuff where you just want to go to war and you just want to vent, and I think it's okay. I'm not talking about self-mutilation and talking about all this, killing and stuff like that. Now, I think that's a little bit too far, but just, stylistically, the drums and the tribal rhythms and the breakdowns and the screaming and the screaming out, some of it, man, is just as powerful as some of the Tibetan chants you'll hear. Some of it, you'll feel the spirit on it stronger than, anything of the Bethel worship, So, yeah, man, it's not really the style that is the channel, but the person, man. It's just, the person is the vessel to channel the energy and the creativity. So even there's another band that everybody should check out. There's actually a couple, man. And as far as if we're going down like as far as like the metal music, check out the band BT Bam, which is Between the Buried and Me. Really good music. Also, Born of Osiris. I love that band, Born of Osiris. They got some great music, man. It's real heavy, real tribal, screaming and singing. They got keyboards and synth over the music. Check them out. And there's another one called Veil of Maya. Those are like the three bands that I listen to. I don't listen to them a lot, but I used to be really big into the heavier stuff. I did an album. This is, half rap and half metal, but yeah, as far as like the heavy music goes, if you want to look up some stuff that has some positive lyrics or some lyrics that make you think or talk about the Sumerian tablets and awakening and consciousness, as far as in that heavy metal music, check out those 3 bands.
Yeah. For rap music, also check out Luminaries from California, amazing heartfelt MCs, as well in the reggae world. I definitely resonate with the work of Damian Marley, one of Bob Marley's.
Yeah, definitely.
Very on that like soldiers of God kind of vibe. So yeah.
Yeah. Listen to him first thing this morning, headed to work, man. I got up at 1:30 a.m. Hit the road. I was on the road at 2:30 a.m. jamming some, Road to Zion and Patience and all that, man. For sure, dude. Yeah. Patience is one of the best videos you can see, man. Patience with Nas and Damian Marley. Look it up on YouTube. Amazing video. The visuals and just the song in itself. Beautiful. Anything else you wanted to add, Matt, while you're on the line, man?
Not really. Oh, actually, there was one thing, but it was just a side comment. You had, when you mentioned earlier how music was originally intended to be for the unveiling, the ascension of the soul and whatnot, it reminded me of, I'm a member of the Rosicrucian Order, or a Rosicrucian Order, and they have this sign inside of their meditation room. I can't remember everything that it says, but it says, it's something that we're reminded of every single time we meditate there, and it's to let the music that they're playing be the vehicle. And so music, in its original form, is supposed to be a vehicle that is supposed to take us upward, and anything that does not is just a waste of time. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's exactly what it is. It's a vehicle, and I'm gonna try to find this quote. There's a couple. There's a couple here on this website, but anything by Pythagoras, man. If you look up some of the stories about him and his work that is mentioned of in Manly P. Hall's book, The Secret Teachings of All Ages. So if you read the chapter about the music of Pythagoras, man, and how they conducted their lives, it's amazing. You know what I'm saying? You'll be a fan and want to look into them. But he said the highest goal of music is to connect one's soul to the divine nature, not entertainment. And that's quoted by Pythagoras, 569 BC. There's a lot of amazing quotes. Go to harmonicshealing.com, HARMONIX healing.com. There's a bunch of quotes by some of the greats. By there's someone here from Albert Einstein, Edgar Casey. If you learn music, you learn history. If you learn music, you learn mathematics. If you learn music, you learn the most all there is to learn. Edgar Casey. So even it's so deep, because when we talk about the prophetic and we talk about the prophets, it speaks about in the book of Samuel, there were some people who came up to meet Samuel, and him and all the prophets, because Samuel had a school of the prophets where all the prophets hung out together, and he taught them, and they all played music together, and they said they all walked down and they all had their instruments in their hand. And it's like, man, I just see a picture of, when I'm with a group of friends and we're reading that and we're all just jamming, playing music, and we got djembes and bongos and guitars and stuff. It's like the prophets always had music. They were always playing music. It was always something powerful. So they understood the power of music. David understood the power of music. And, we need to understand it as well, and we need to take it back,
Yeah, actually, that reminds me, along those lines, there's another verse in the Bible. I don't remember where it is. It's around the same time period, and there's a battle, and there's some enemies of the children of God camped somewhere, and God told them basically just go up and sing and play music and just praise me, and I'll take care of the enemies.
Yeah.
And they did, and the enemies were destroyed. And the thing is, whether or not that actually happened, it was a metaphor for what happens when we worship God. Because when we focus on Him and praise Him and lift Him up, our enemies, our internal enemies, the things that strive against us within us, get destroyed, and He takes care of them. And some of the most cleansing times I've ever had spiritually have been during worship.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's times where I've, tried to, muster up an experience through stargazing or meditation or something like that, and nothing seemed to happen. And then I visit a church, or I'll listen to some Bethel music on my computer, man, and I'm just instantly taken in, like that. And everything has to line up, because you can hear a song today and it be good, but then you hear it tomorrow and it be great, and it takes you to that place. You know what I'm saying? And actually, we talked about that on the last podcast with Eric Doller. He talked about how everything has to line up, and how you perceive sound differently in accordance to the way that the planets are aligned. A lot of deep understanding, and I'm just relating it to my spiritual practice and how I see it. So true. I'm looking at a quote here from Martin Luther, and this just goes exactly along with what we were saying. It says, "Music is the art of the prophets, the only art that can calm the agitations of the soul." Martin Luther. It goes exactly what we're saying. So, with that being said, Tarek, do you have anything else you want to add, man? Anything that we didn't touch on before we go?
About a lot, and I just grew up, like, my father's from Lebanon, and there's a lot of, close to Palestine where Jesus was from, and there's like this big clash, Jews, Muslims, Christians, where all the three, I guess, most popular religions came out of. And I remember this beautiful story my dad told me, because I never grew up there. When I was born, there's a lot of wars, so we moved somewhere safer, which is Dubai. But he told me when Kulthum, who's like the Bob Marley, I guess, of the Arabic music world, would come on the radio, she would perform for the people, and it's like all sides, all religions, just sit down, drink some tea, smoke whatever, smoke some cigarettes or whatever, and just be at peace for that hour, for those 2 hours. And it just really resonated with me when I heard that, and it's very similar to what our brother was just sharing about the quoting from, praise God and the enemies will stop and there will be no more war, and that's how important it is. And I feel like it is important, and to listen to it, to sing it, to be a part of a music drum circle, whatever, however, it's just really healing, really empowering, really powerful. And I'm just so honored and grateful to connect with like-minded people, and just really inspired to go out there and to share my gifts, talents, and abilities. And anyone who's listening from my network, please continue to listen to these podcasts. I know I'm going to. There's tons of wisdom that you drop in the websites and the links that I want to go and follow up on those. And just being in this energy for me is just something I want to align more with your music, with this kind of music we're talking about, your my music, the links, etc. I just feel very honored and grateful and thankful.
Well, yeah, man, thanks for coming on the show. It was, a huge blessing. And anybody who wants to follow up on his work, you can go to TarekBibi.com or TarekBibi.com, TarekBibi.com. And you'll be able to be linked to his music and all the other resources that he has available. And check him out there. Also on Facebook, he's there as well. So join us next week. I'm really excited about this show. One of the people whose work that I have been greatly influenced by over the past couple of years, Patrick Cook. He passed away last August, I believe it was. God rest his soul. He's passed on to eternity. We're going to do a show where we're going to be giving honor to him and remembering his works and touching on the subjects that he blessed us with. His website is BibleUFO.com. So much information about angels, aliens, ETs, vehicles, encounters, things like that. Probably the biggest online source for ancient scriptures. It's not only in scriptures. I mean, he covers everything. The site is still up, BibleUFO.com. I'm going to be speaking with Brian Tyson, who is definitely inspired by his work as well, and we're going to be having this show. So we're going to be opening up the phone lines if people want to call in and get plugged in with us next week. The UFOs in the Bible. So a lot of misconceptions out there, a lot of disinfo out there on YouTube, on Facebook, a lot of fear. So next week we're going to alleviate that fear, and we're going to bring forth peace and righteousness and understanding, and we're going to go into the Bible and go into some of the other holy books to talk about UFOs in the Bible, angels and aliens. With that, I'm going to say shalom. Thanks everybody for holding us down in the chat room, everybody calling in. Like I said, peace, shalom. Check us out at TruthSeekahMusic.com. Truth, SEEKAH, music.com. Peace.
A year later, we started coming out, and people wandered around, not knowing what I was going to do, trying to find a place to survive. One day, I heard a voice. It's hard to explain, but it was like it was coming from inside of me. But I could hear it as clear as I could hear you talking to me now.
What did this voice say?
It told me that a path would be laid out for me, told me that I'd be protected against anyone or anything that stood in my path. I've been walking ever since.
And you did all that because a voice in your head told you to?
Yes, I did. I know what I heard. I know what I hear. I know I'm not crazy. And I know I would have never made it without help.
Transcend the physical, spiritual, individual. Faith followed by works, so we healing them with the syllables. Third eye visual, teaching mystical principles. Knowledge up from the rooted and given unto the simple. Overactive imagination, they medicated and then sedated. Expect the worst and exaggerated. I'm frustrated, where we're headed is not where we've been. Cali Google, we're at the hands of the fallen men. Righteous teachers were given wisdom like Solomon. I grab my pen and write blessings that will bind up the gin. God's breath and I feel it like I'm feeling the wind. I'll come too far to look back and start over again. Stimulate your mind, you seek and you will find the kingdom that's inside. Wake up and realize you need nothing that's outside. The blind leading the blind. Pharisees and false scribes, religion will only bind. When truth is the mystic mind, one begins to prophesy. Dream the visions well inside, resonate and start to shine. To a place where I reside, ancient ways from space and time. Jacob's ladder, I will climb deep into the mystic mind. Truth is the mystic mind, one begins to prophesy. Dream the visions well inside, resonate and start to shine. To a place where I reside, ancient ways from space and time. Jacob's ladder, I will climb deep into the mystic mind. Got me contemplating what to do in this situation. I close my eyes and realize within my meditation, conversation with God. Sit it up in higher places, great sensation. I'm changing faces, illumination. So face it, can we look within and find the light inside? If we believe we're created in the image of God, my soul will never rest. It was never second best. I was never made to harbor and carry the stress. Burning stage, clear the way for the theta wave. In a blurry haze, making money and getting paid. In a mental maze, wake the sleepers up from their graves. Could have time for change, let's regress to the ancient ways. Most high praise, the one who is and the one who was, that all divine being. Who sends us light and that sends us love. Thoughts will enter your psyche, embedded deep into the mind. Writing pages of revelation, just like the prophet John. When truth is the mystic mind, one begins to prophesy. Dreams the visions well inside, resonate and start to shine. To a place where I reside, ancient ways from space and time. Jacob's ladder, I will climb deep into the mystic mind. Truth is the mystic mind, one begins to prophesy. Dreams the visions well inside, resonate and start to shine. To a place where I reside, ancient ways from space and time. Jacob's ladder, I will climb deep into the mystic mind. Consciousness evolves and elevates to a higher state. Feel like I'm dreaming when I'm awake. In my mind, my thoughts be creeping, speaking to me while I'm sleeping. Gotta be angels and listen to demons. Angels whisper, demons screaming, scheming and plotting and trigger deceiving and mocking my mission. Wishing my inner vision diminished, but I've been commissioned. Vicious and conversating, waiting, remaining patient while I'm facing, embracing situations. Back to the basics, so face it. Let's remember who we are, not who we were. Even though the past is so distant, all you see is a blur. Never know what the future holds, never know what the future brings. An apocalypse salvation within our grasp. A new song I will sing is to gain the world. In the end, it won't mean a thing. Death to the kingdom established. It's time to end your reign. Fire will burn, purge the world, and only truth remains. The truth is the mystic mind. One begins to prophesy. Dream divisions dwell inside. Resonate and start to shine to a place where I reside. Ancient ways of space and time. Jacob's ladder, I will climb deep into the mystic mind. The truth is the mystic mind. One begins to prophesy. Dream divisions dwell inside. Resonate and start to shine to a place where I reside. Ancient ways of space and time. Jacob's ladder, I will climb deep into the mystic mind.
You cannot be afraid of any question or any concept. You don't say, oh, when you say God, I don't like that. I'm not comfortable with God. No, you're comfortable with everything because everything comes from the same place. You don't say, oh, I don't believe in this, I don't believe in that, oh, I like this. No, because it shows that there is a strong conditioning still operating effectively. But something is able to flex and to see that in the manifest world, in the manifold world, it is just appearances in consciousness. And I can locate my consciousness in affinity with every point of view. I can see it's okay. It's okay.